So recently Fisch has come under a lot of fire due to this game pass right here, the limited time winter bundle. In this game pass you get the snowmobile jet ski, which is the fastest boat in the game, the frost warden rod and the North Star bobber. This costs 799 Robux. The reason people aren't really happy with this game pass is because of the price. This is just not worth 799 Robux. So because people weren't very happy with the bundle, Fisch on Twitter actually did release a statement saying a good chunk of players are unhappy with the Robux bundle we released with the Fishmas update due to the items not being worth the price. It was intentional. We're not going out of our way to sell a game breaking meta rod for a few extra pennies. This is a little bit crazy because as you can see if I scroll down here, this guy puts it in a perfect point of view. We're not going to go out the way to sell a game breaking meta rod to break an extra few pennies. Yeah, you aren't selling an overpower rod, you are just putting literally the fastest boat in the game behind a paywall. Please isn't what you were saying. This is totally right. The rod isn't the best, but the boat is the best boat in the game. If you want the fastest boat, you're gonna have to spend 800 Robux on a game pass. We have gone out of our way, however, to notify long time and trusted members of our community before we release these paid features to tell them not to bother wasting their money on it because it wouldn't be worth purchasing since they are so far ahead in the game. We made a promise to the community not to go down the pay to win route, and we're keeping it. The development team is very well aware of the boundary that the community set in place after the Do Big acquisition, and it is not our interest to violate these boundaries. Please purchase these bundles on your own accord. We haven't and don't plan on entertaining the idea of selling rods or other items strong enough to pay your way through the game. Our goal is to ensure you can enjoy Fisch just as much as any other person would without spending a dime, and that goal won't change. We will reiterate once again, it is your choice to purchase what we sell. Just keep in mind that the effect it has on your progress is either extremely minimal or won't affect it at all, like cosmetics. So this guy said, it's still insanely expensive for something that clearly isn't worth the value. As you said, some players like to buy packs to get better in the game. The sheer price of this pack makes it unbuyable for anyone, regardless how far they are in the game. Quit the greed. Our aim isn't to be greedy, but to maintain game balance and integrity. We understand the pricing might seem steep, but our goal is to make sure we don't topple the balance of fairness. The items in the bundle mainly reflect their cosmetic value while offering a better boot to compensate for that. There's not much we can do to please both sides of the player base, but we'd much rather favour those who consume the game's content as it was intended to be consumed freely, hence our reasoning behind this. So the person who made the original reply responded to Fisch by saying, why sell it in the first place? The items in the package could have been easily added as an obtainable items considering their quality. There is zero point in putting it up for a price tag. You're basically putting items that could have been absolutely free for an outrageous price tag. Those unfortunate enough to purchase it are forced to suffer, basically blowing the equivalent of 10 USD on a package worth shit. If you want to avoid this kind of backlash in the future, I seriously recommend the team allow the stats to be viewed from the shop so you know what you're getting. If we go back to the game here, we can see the snowmobile jet ski doesn't show the stats and the warden rod doesn't show the stats. But if we do go to the shipwright, we can actually see the stats of the new boat right here. But for the rod's sake, there is no way to see the rod stats, which is a little bit of a bummer considering you're spending 799 Robux. You're gonna want to know what rod you're getting and if it's any good or not taking a complete gamble and spending 799 Robux. So basically this statement is just telling us not to buy it if we're in endgame, and that the game isn't going down the pay to win route. But in my opinion, the game's kind of going down a more pay to fast route. If you pay your Robux, you're going to progress through the game a lot faster if you've just started, but buying these bundles when you're in the end game or late game isn't really worth it. And that's the excuse Fisch are trying to make, saying we're trying to help newer players in the game. But for the price of 799 Robux, I don't really think this is worth it, and I think Fisch have really missed the mark here.